This episode of The Modern Rogue brought to you by Privacy.
Head on over to privacy.com/rogue. Spell it right, privacy.com/rogue. And you get $5 of real cash when you sign up. Spend it on anything you want, like at our store on Modern Rogue merchandise.
This is Modern Rogue Sports. Tonight, Brian Brushwood and Corey Diamond Hands CRANFILL face off in the Modern Rogue Ping Pong Final 2.
You ever bet on sports?
I bet on a horse race one time in Houston, but mostly just because if you bet, they let you buy dollar hot dogs. True story.
I mean, that tracks, but I want to know the reality of, I still don't understand sports betting.
I just did it for the hot dog, honestly.
Get that on a t-shirt.
I just did it for the hot dog.
We want to understand the fundamentals of sports betting, and that's why we have a decades-long professional sports bettor. You're not even a bettor, you're the guy that set the line? Is that?
Yeah, I started off as the guy you walk up to the window and make the bet with, and currently I'm in the team that actually makes the odds that you bet against.
Okay, this is Chris, aka Mitzula. As a matter of fact, I don't know if you know this, but on the comedy podcast I do, that's gone through a billion different names, Chris, at his job, used to take our silly comedy games and actually set the line on it and would put it on the big board next to all the big professional events.
I remember you showing me a picture that I could not explain, which happens a lot.
Yes.
You showing me a picture of your podcast up on the screen at a very famous casino. And I was just like, don't understand what's going on anymore. But that was you.
me.
This is the guy that made it happen. Chris, what is the one thing everybody should know about sports betting?
And what is the over and under that we're going to understand anything that you're saying?
Oh man, you did it. Also, what is the over under?
Which is a very good question. The first thing you should know about sports betting is that the over-under is one of 3 specific types of bets you can make on an event. Oftentimes when you're asking what the over-under on something is, you're not actually asking the over-under on something, you're asking the odds of something. You want to know what the money line odds are that this thing will happen.
My money line, what is the money line?
The money line...
Is that the thing on MSNBC that I...
He hits and the bull comes out.
Oh, that's what it is.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I work with Mr. Kramer personally. But no, the money line is just the generic basic odds on who will win an event. And that can be anything from pick'em, where it's minus 110 each side, where it's a close game or a matchup, or it can be up to stuff like, let's say it's the Harlem Globetrotters versus the Washington Generals. You know the Globetrotters are going to win. The Globetrotters are going to be minus 9,000, where you've got to bet $9,000 to win $100 back, whereas the Generals will be plus 7,000, meaning you'll get $70 back on every dollar you bet. For every bet, there's 3 ways you can bet it. There's the money line.
Okay, wow. All the way back, I heard a lot of words. What is the most basic sports bet I can make?
The most basic sports bet you can make is going to probably be the spread bet. That's the most common bet for most every sport that people acknowledge and people know. And that is if you're betting a team to win or lose a game by a certain amount of points.
Right, and so is this the same as the line?
Yes, that's commonly referred to as the line.
Okay, so in other words, let's say, again, Globetrotters versus Generals. Globetrotters are expected to win by 30 points.
Yeah, so they would be Globetrotters minus 29.5.
Okay, when you see Globetrotters minus 29.5, I assume what that means is if they win by less than 29.5, then that's below the line and
you lose your bet.
Got it, okay.
So if you take it Washington Generals plus 29.5 and the Generals lose by 12, even though they lost the game,
you win
they
the
still
bet.
covered your bet because they covered the spread.
Okay, one thing for us to take away. The spread is the handicapped differential that you could choose. Now, even though you can choose more or less than the spread, that's not the same as over-under?
Over-under is betting the combined total of both teams in whatever the thing is. It could be a quarter, it could be a half, it could be the full game. You could bet over-under on the number of points LeBron James will score in a game.
Okay, if I'm following it correctly, the spread is about one team or person winning and one losing, whereas the over-under is just about general action.
Doesn't matter who wins. You
Right.
don't care about who wins.
As long as they have fun.
More or less. You're betting that will they combined do more or less than the number that's set.
And that is why the number can be about a single player's number of rebounds or the number of hoops they shoot.
It can be.
I'm doing sports.
No.
It can be
I love badminton.
and yeah, those are called player propositionals. Player propositional wagering, where you're betting on a specific player's stat. Like, but those are 99% of the time they're an over/under.
Okay, so an over and under is there's a line. Is it always like a 0.5 so that there's no dispute about what's over and what's under?
The 0.5 exists a lot of times, unless it's a key number, which is like, 3 in football, which is a field goal, or 7, which is a touchdown. It's going to be a half because there's 2 reasons. Somebody always wins.
Right.
And we don't have to pay everybody back. Because if the game lands 6, everybody gets a refund.
Got it.
But if the game lands 5.5, there's no
There is no
debate.
5.5.
The half is a common ending for sports betting just because it prevents ties, because it's no fun to tie. You want to win.
Right. The spread is about winners and losers and by how much. The over-under is literally anything that you could put a number to.
And will there be more or less than that in the terms of whatever the bet is? Usually it's, will there be more or less than this many points in the game? Most people want, when they say the over-under, they're either asking what is the spread, or more commonly they're asking what is the money line? What are the odds of this thing happening?
Right.
And the money line is the third version of betting. And what that is saying no points, no nothing. This person wins, and how much you have to pay for that.
So that's a much simpler one where it's just kind of binary, whereas the other ones, there are a lot more variables.
The money line is very binary. It's will they win, yes or no. But if there's a team that's a big favorite, you're going to have to put a lot more money down to get any money back.
Right. So what would the money line in a Globetrotters versus Washington Generals? And we should explain to international folks that the Globetrotters are
They're the greatest sports team in the history
Somebody
of
put
sports.
something on screen that explains what the Globetrotters are.
Since the Globetrotters very rarely lose, they would probably be like minus 100,000, which means you've got to lay $10,000 to win $100 back.
Wait,
That sounds-
minus 100,000? Those were different numbers.
Yeah, so there's American odds, decimal odds, and fractional odds. Ideal.
It's a symmetric system.
It is very similar. Predominantly everywhere in the US uses American odds, hence why it's American odds, which is why I'll be explaining that, because that's what I deal in predominantly.
Right.
American odds actually end up going to fractional because me saying minus 10,000 isn't minus $10,000. That's minus 100 with 2 extra zeros, because you got to lay that to win it back. The easiest way to look at it is if we look at the board, you'll see in the top right corner there's a number called minus 110.
Okay,
I
just to
recognize
be
that
clear,
number.
We're talking about the money line.
Well, no, this is all bets actually.
I thought we got into like life insurance actuarial stuff like
There is-
30 seconds ago.
There's some crazy math involved in all of this. In the gaming world, there's this thing called the VIG, or the vigorish, or the juice, sometimes you'll hear it referred to as.
That's the casino's take in a thing.
It's what the odds maker charges you for making the bet.
It's
So-
think about poker. So in poker, there's a nice table, there's air conditioning, there's drinks and all that stuff. Now all the players are playing against each other, but the air conditioning and the protection from the elements and the security, somebody has to pay for that. So every single time there's a pot, there's a little bit that goes to the casino. That's the VIG.
What the VIG in the sports bet is it just makes it so that we can make money on a bet. Because let's say it's the Globetrotters minus 20, or 20 and a half.
This is the money line, or no,
That's the spread.
This is the spread. The spread.
Yeah.
That means they're very likely to win. The question is by how much?
Yeah. So we're saying 20 and a half. Let's say that you guys both come in, and let's say Brian bets $100 on the Globetrotters to win by 21 or more. And Jason comes in and bets $100 on the Generals to win or not lose by 20 more than 21 points.
Because Jason's an idiot in this scenario.
You said lose.
we gotta lose. Okay.
Essentially,
They
we're
could
making
lose.
the same
You're saying-
bet.
But you're saying
right.
the Generals aren't going to lose by more than 21 points.
Okay.
So you guys are on opposite sides of the bet.
Okay.
But if we paid even money on every bet, we would take Jason's $100 or your $100, put them in a pile.
Yep.
Wait for the game to result, and then give the winner back $200. We don't make money in that.
Right.
So most of the time when you're betting against the spread, unless it's indicated, it's going to be that minus 110, which means you've got to bet $11 to win 10 back, or you put up 110 to win 100 back. It's called buying the juice,
Now, why do most people bet on spreads?
because it keeps it more entertaining, especially in long shot games where there's, a 21 point or a 30 point game, and some like college football games and even some pro football games and some basketball games. If you know team A is going to just destroy team B, nobody's going to care. But this way all right, I need team A and I need them to win by this much or more.
So if you know the outcome of game that you're pretty sure the team A is going to win or team B is going to win, that's irrelevant. You're not betting on that. You're betting on the details because that's where all of the unpredictability for you is going to come from.
Yeah, like we know team A is going to win. They're 30-point favorite. It's going to happen 99 point something percent of the time. That's what the math works out to. If you want to bet on team A, you take the points. You've got to root for them to score that many points more than the other team, so you've got an active cheering situation. Some of the loudest crowd reactions I've ever had were in 40 and 50-point football games as a team scores a meaningless touchdown at the very end that doesn't mean anything to anybody on the field but the player that scored it, but it means significant impact to everybody in that sports book.
All right, show me some examples.
I've got an example up here on the board. As you'll see, we have Janneman State versus the Modern Rogue University.
Woo!
Sorry. It's just like,
I know.
Cheering against Modern Rogue U? Come on!
MRU is...
Oh no! God damn it!
When you walk into a Vegas sportsbook, or if you're in a state that has online sports betting now, which is starting to become more common, you're going to see the odds expressed pretty much like this. You got Janneman State and Modern Rogue. For American purposes, this means that Janneman State is playing at Modern Rogue University. In America, the bottom team is always the home team.
Oh, it's the position. Got it. Okay.
In international books, it's reversed.
Of course. Why wouldn't it be?
Yeah.
Because metric betting is fun. But you'll see the -5.5 next to Janneman, which means they're the favorites.
So I'm going to assume 5.5 is the spread.
Yes.
So Janneman State is favored to win by 5.5 points, or well, I guess that's the line. Whatever.
Yeah. If you take Janneman State, you're saying they're going to win by 6 or more points.
Okay, now the -250, that's the money line?
Yes.
Good. Yes, we got this. And the money line indicates that I don't know what that means. What does it mean?
-250. That means you got to bet $250 to win 100 back that Janneman wins. That doesn't matter if it's Janneman by 1
Correct.
or Janneman by 300 points.
Got it.
You're just betting that Janneman is going to win.
Because it's binary.
If I see this, I'm going to say, I'm going to bet the spread, and I'm going to take Janneman State. Does that automatically mean I'm choosing them to win by more than that number?
If you go up to a book and you say, give me Janneman State, most of the time in a sports book, they're going to default to taking a spread bet unless you specify, I just want them to win outright or on the money line. Because most of the time, people don't like betting the money line, especially if you look at Janneman State. You got to lay 250 to 100 back on them to win the game.
Right.
But if you take them -5.5, you only got to lay 110 to win 100 back.
I see. Got
So,
it.
because if Janneman State wins by 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, while they won the game, you didn't win the game.
Got it. Janneman State doesn't have to crush it. They can win by 1 point, and I'll get 100 back.
On the money line, if you lay the 250.
Got it. Now I'm getting it.
However, on the spread, if you lay it, you get the -110 because you have to win by more than that many
So
points.
Janneman State kicking a field goal at the end during a tie game
to win by 3.
To win by 3 is a losing proposition on the spread, but a winning proposition on the money line. But you win less on the money line than the spread.
Because they're supposed to win the game.
And then separately, the over/under is just like, and there'll be this many steps during the game.
Now, like the number right there, next to Modern Rogue University, you see the 48.5.
Is that the action for the whole game?
That would be the over/under for the full game.
Got it. So in this case, the score is 21-21. So currently, I would be losing if I had taken the over. But then all of a sudden, I don't know, somebody scores a touchdown.
All of a sudden, Janneman State scores a late touchdown.
And now, all of a sudden, it's at 48, and now it's the extra point, and I'm freaking out. Because if they do a kick or if they do a 2-point conversion, then I get a payout on the over/under that I had placed for action for the game. Even though I don't really care between Janneman State and Modern Rogue University.
I'm starting to get really concerned that you explained this to him.
No, but you're seeing it, right?
I am.
So,
and I'm also seeing your excitement. And I'm like, oh boy.
Smash cut to Modern Rogue closed.
Oh God. Smash cut to DEF CON. Where's Brian? Oh, somebody broke his leg yesterday.
So both of these are bets that are, again, let's say I went to Modern Rogue University. I know they're not favored. I love them. Here is $200 and wait.
Plus 200 is 2 to 1 essentially. You bet 100, you get 200 back.
Oh, got it. It's a positive return on a $100 investment as opposed to a negative return of you have to pay $250 to get 100.
In American book, anytime you see the minus with a price behind it, that's how much money you have to bet to win 100 back. Anytime you see the plus price, that's how much money you get back on a $100 wager. Because we're doing the opposite of what we did at Janneman State. We're saying, not only do I think Modern Rogue is not gonna lose by 5.5, I think they're gonna win the game outright. They're the underdog, they're not favored to win, so you're gonna get money back on that by saying, I think the underdog's got a chance to win this.
I think you're right to be worried.
I'm a little concerned.
I'm really excited about this. Not only do I think I have this, but I'm so into it, I want you to put together hypothetical odds if we were to have a Modern Rogue Final 2, that's a real thing, tournament of ping pong. I want you to handicap, is that what you call it?
Yes,
Yes, I want
handicapping.
you to handicap and give me betting odds on me versus Corey.
You want me to do that?
Also, in this league, I'm allowed to gamble on myself.
At least he didn't say Hearthstone. Yeah, okay. Open that can of worms.
That is an actual esport that is gambled on, but not right now.
Look at that face! He's glowing!
We could do the Modern Rogue Biathlon and have it be Hearthstone and ping pong.
Could you handicap that?
Not only could I handicap that, if you help me flip this chalkboard over here.
What's going on?
Are there more numbers? Is there more math?
Oh my God! Okay, I think I understand what this is. First of all, you are predicting, screw you, you're predicting I'm going to lose and that Corey's going to win because this is money line over there. Okay, which means what?
Money line means it's binary, it's yes or no, it's one team is gonna win, one team's gonna lose.
That's correct, and you have to put in how many to get how many?
Okay, so for the positive, you put in 100, you get 110 back.
Yes.
And for the negative, you put
minus.
in 130, you get 100 back.
That's correct, that's correct. This stuff here, Brian.
So these are what they call fan bets or result bets. What you're doing is all 5 of these are sub bets of the game. This is Brian versus Corey in a best of 3 ping pong challenge. Bets all here would all be one bet. You can bet any of them, but it's will Brian win it 2-0?
Because the money line is set at plus 300, that means I have to put in $100, and if I win 2-0,
Exactly 2-0.
then I get 300 back.
If you win 2-1,
Yep.
and then Corey, if he wins 2-0, it's plus 160. Corey to win outright is even. And then
I don't like this. I don't like none of this.
nobody wins and it ends up in a
You're
fight
a
as
bad
100 to
odds
1.
maker, and this is bull.
I don't know,
I'm so bad I've only been doing it for a decade now.
that's all.
All right, let's find out. Let's find out.
Fight!
This is Modern Rogue Sports. Tonight, Brian Brushwood and Corey Diamond Hands CRANFILL face off in the Modern Rogue Ping Pong Final 2. It all comes down to this, a best of 3 matchup. Coach Eli the intern preparing CRANFILL for the match, while Coach Murphy takes a less traditional approach. CRANFILL is highly favored to win tonight. CRANFILL serves first and scores first. He is looking very dominant tonight. There seems to be no stopping CRANFILL tonight. Ooh, Brushwood finally comes back with a point. But CRANFILL continues to punish. Ooh, point Brushwood. Could there be a comeback on the horizon? No. Brushwood scores again. Oh no, you hate to see that, folks. What an error. Now it's game point here. Can Brushwood recover? Ooh, CRANFILL absolutely crushes it and takes game 1. That's 1 win for CRANFILL and 0 for Brushwood. Oh, looks like things are getting heated here at the start of game 2. And oh, Brushwood tries a surprise serve. But it does not faze CRANFILL, who scores first. Brushwood serves again, and into the net it goes. Point CRANFILL. Point Brushwood. And we have a tie game. A nice long volley here. Can you believe it? Brushwood takes the lead. CRANFILL looking rattled, but what a beautiful serve. He ties it up again. Wow, what a save! CRANFILL is all fired up. Things are not looking so hot for Brushwood. CRANFILL is absolutely punishing, and Brushwood is not happy about it. It's still anyone's game at this point. And Brushwood scores! Ooh, a miss from CRANFILL, and again we have a tie game. We've got a nice volley going on here. That brings us to game point.
Is that defeat I smell?
And CRANFILL wins it all.
This game's a fraud! The sport is a sham! I'm done with it! Ah!
That's a clean sweep for CRANFILL. He wins the match 2-0. Just how much imaginary money did you win if you bet on CRANFILL? Really, please tell us in the comments. That's some math stuff, and we don't do that here on this channel.
How many streaming services do you have, Brian?
Spoiler alert, which is something we used to say on our show. I host a show where we talk about streaming services and all the programming that's coming to it, which means that I have to try on a bunch of these, and I have a new favorite game. My new favorite game is to sign up for them using a single-use card with a spending limit from privacy.com.
I recently found out that I have 3 streaming services that I thought I canceled a long time ago. Still been paying for them because I didn't use a one-time privacy.com card.
That's the beauty, right? You don't have to remember nothing. You sign up, you say, put $5 on this card, let me click the button on the plugin for my favorite browser, it'll generate a code tied directly to this vendor with a maximum spending limit, and then they're gonna probably keep on giving me the service. I'm not claiming that, but I'm just saying that when it runs out, I don't have to cancel nothing because there's nothing, they can't grab your money.
Oh, and there are no hidden fees. I love how privacy keeps your data private.
Dude, and they're not kidding. They have that 2-key authentication. You've seen war games,
Yes.
probably on a streaming service that you've subscribed for just using a one-time use card.
Didn't even
for
know I had
privacy.
this.
Like, it takes 2 people to go,
Turn
ready,
the
1,
key,
2, 3,
sir.
and go. Oh, boom. That's how secure this stuff is. Here's another thing. All those credit card companies, they're always selling your information, and people think, oh, I don't care. You'll care when they find out what your favorite spending habits are online, and then all of a sudden you get weird targeted ads that showed up because somebody somewhere bought your freaking information. Not with privacy.
Keep the AI overlords from picking apart your brain and manipulating you.
Go to privacy.com/rogue. You'll get $5 of real money you can spend. You'll keep your information private. You'll keep it secure. You'll be supporting us.
Everybody
we love
wins.
you.
We love you.
Offer and link in the description below.
Let me forget about the line, and that's also not the over-under. That's just the
No,
spread.
That's just the spread
Okay.
or the handicap.
Okay,
Those
so
are the 2 common ways that
The
occurs.
handicap. So that's not about Tanya Harding taking somebody out at the knee.
That's a kneecap.
I always
Yes,
thought that was like she's handicapping the competition.
She did
Don't make this more
She
complicated.
did handicap the competition, but she also handicapped her ability to win that year.
Okay,